Hello, welcome to Kate's Space. I'm Kate from Pixie Designs, and this video today is part of the 100 Days of Junk Journaling Ideas. This is a collaboration hosted by Rach and Bella Crafts, and it started on the 1st of March. I've got a slide up there with everything you need to know about the challenge or collaboration, and also it will all be in the description box as well. Here are this week's journal makers that are taking part in the challenge. So we've got a week's worth of different makers. If you go to the hashtag, you'll also see other people who are taking part and using the hashtag. So you'll see all sorts of wonderful makes there. So please support all the collaborators by watching, liking and commenting on their videos. That way you'll be entered into the prizes, and subscribe as well if you haven't already. It is really so appreciated. We've got some small channels who really would appreciate your support in any way. So all the details and links will be in the description box below, including a link to this lovely kit which I'm showing and using, called Billet Doux, which is translated from French to English as love letters, or the translation I really love is tender notes. So let's get started. I am making a journal cover. So that was the prompt I chose, journal covers and binding. And I was happy with it until I realized, wow, that's a big video, doing a journal cover and binding. So I doubt we'll do both. And then what happened was I filmed a whole lot and my camera was not, for some reason, switched on, or it turned off, or something happened. We had a technical glitch. So now I'm filming and I've had to wait all day for the sun to get off my desk, but it's still on my desk. We're just going to have to deal with it. So what I have done so far is I've talked about getting a book. It doesn't have to be a vintage book. It can be a modern day book, and you can cover it in fabric or cover it with the digitals or whatever. But I'm just going to show you how I use an old book and use it as a journal cover. What I've done already is cleaned this up a little bit, and you can see just where I've done that, because some of the paint also started coming off. So it still looks quite grubby, but it's not. And then I actually put some matte medium on this picture here to give it some more protection, and I sprayed it with some acrylic sealer, and I had to do that outside and let it dry. The other thing I've done is I've gutted the book by taking the whole text block out. The way you do that is you slide your knife between the text block and the cover. And my spine is actually in pretty good nick, so I've just used some masking tape, and that's going to protect those shoulders, because the shoulder bits here, they're just basically the fabric, and that's like 100 and so years old, so that needs just a little bit of protecting to keep it nice and strong. And masking tape's adequate because we're then going to use some fabric as well. So that's as far as we got on this. The other thing you need to think of ahead of time is what kind of binding you're going to do. Are you going to sew through your spine? In which case you can do all your fabric and your end papers now, because then you can just sew your signatures in. Or are you wanting to do a hidden binding, which is like what I think I'm going to do, which means your signatures are going to be attached to a piece of fabric. We're going to sew them onto the fabric, and the fabric is going to be glued into the spine here. Now, the other thing is, do you want it to be a hollow back? The benefit of a hollow back spine is like the pages lie flatter, because they can lift up and away from the spine rather than be forced down into the spine when you open it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. If you wanted to keep the spine curved before taping it, you would cut a piece of light cardstock, maybe just some manila folder, the same size as that inner spine, and glue it in. And then overnight you would set your text block in there to create and force it in to create that curved spine, so it has a memory of that spine. I'm not doing that again because of time and doing a video. So where are we at? The other thing I wanted to do on the cover, and you need to do these things first, and I so often forget, is I want to attach this little piece that I've made. So this is a piece I've cut from one of the postcards from the kit, and just a metal plate, and I'm going to attach that there. It doesn't really need much decoration, but I really like that, so it's just separating a little bit there, but that actually doesn't matter because I'm going to fix it firmly down like that with some brads. So I'm going to get my brads. So let's make a decision. Now you need to do this before you've decided what you're doing on, or before you do anything on here, because you've got to hide the brads. So this is quite easy because we've got the center decoration, and I can just center it there. Oh, so I just need to make sure that it's approximately the same from that point. So that's 35. And yeah, so that's pretty good. I'm going to mark it with a pencil there and there and make my holes. And I'm just going to poke them just with a kind of a sharp awl, because I want them to be quite tight. And actually I could probably just use this book to poke into. And I'm just hoping there. Yep, let's just go for it. There we go. And I am, like I said, going to put some glue on the back of here as well, just to make sure it's lovely and secure. Right, so I'm going to poke my brad through. On that side. And on that side. Then I want to split them here. And I want to push down really tight. And then we will cover these. So there we go, we've got our little plate in there. It looks really cute. We've got our book cover protected. We've taken these the end papers out and pulled them back a bit just to make that a bit smoother. And I have gathered up pages. Now normally I probably wouldn't be so quick to be sticking these in, but this is a video about covers and binding. So let's see if we can go about showing you, if you don't already know, how to do the hidden binding. If we weren't going to do a hidden binding, we would glue this fabric in, and then we would choose a paper to go over there. We would then mark our holes and we would stitch right through into the spine here. And you would see your strings on the outside. For a book this size, you could probably do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So this is the fabric I'm going to use for my signatures to connect to. Now let me just go and check that I have them all the right height. I'm hoping they're the right. They're a little bit sticky out. I've never done a journal that's sticky out. I might actually do that. Like someone stuck all their letters sort of in there. So I'm just going to check the sizes of my papers and I'll be right back. It's the next day. I've got no sun on my desk. It's Tuesday morning New Zealand time, so I've got till this evening to get this video up. Talk about leaving it to the last minute, but that's just the way things have gone. So I put my pages in the press overnight so they're nice and flat. I don't know if I'm completely happy with them, but when you decorate them, you know, the whole vibe and look of them can change. This is the only pocket I've put in. I was thinking about sewing right around, but I have decided not to, so I've just glued this one in. The others are I'm gonna do afterwards, but that's just an example of things, decoration you can do before you sew your pages in, because once they're sewn in, it does become more difficult. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do any real decoration until after, and it will be what it will be. So we need a template or two. We need our fabric that the signatures are going to be sewn to. We need a spine piece to go on the fabric. Some people, I think, use paper. I just use a really lightweight card, and that is going to be glued to that and popped. And for this one, I'm not doing a hollow back. I'm doing this being glued right into the spine. So what you need to make sure is this card is not wider than where these shoulders are, and sometimes because we're putting quite big signatures in, I make it a little bit smaller to make sure that we've still got that space. So we've got 3 signatures. I like doing odd numbers because it's easy. My spine is 4 centimeters, even easier, so I can just mark my center. If you've got a weird measurement, just fold it in half and mark it that way, because sometimes spines can be just a weird measurement. So I'm just going to mark 2 and 2 centimeters there, and that's our center. And then I've got one of these cool sort of this is the latest Tim Holtz one. I used to have the old one. I'm not sure if I prefer this one or not, but anyway, you can go like that. You can put your center there and just work your way out. So I am going to leave quite big gaps. I'd rather have the big gap between the center and the next signature than the signature and the edge of the book cover. So I'm just going to go there and there. As long as they're even, you can just decide how you want it to look. And again, just putting my center on my center mark and putting a dot there and a dot there. And then I just get my ruler and do a pencil line down. I understand that many of you will already know how to do this, so there may be some people who are new to junk journaling who don't, so that's cool. Right, so now I'm going to find the center of this, and I don't find this part as easy, so I am just gonna do a fold, because why not? Life is difficult enough without making it any more difficult. So that's my center there, there, and there. I'm going to mark the top, and you'll understand why if you don't already. And I'm going to do 3 hole because it's just a small journal, and I think 3 hole pamphlet stitch will be more than adequate. So again, I can put my central part of my ruler there, and if I've got short pages I do want to catch them, but I don't think I want to go right down to there. I'm going to go there, which is there. Yep, and so there we go. We have our markings of where our threads and holes are going to go in our pages. Hopefully that's pretty even. And that's all marked. And then I make my page template from this. So let's just do the fabric and glue that on first, because I would want that to dry a little bit. I'm just going to use this Aleene's tacky glue, and I'll just try and spread it so it's not too thick. I don't really want it oozing through my fabric, because you're going to see some of that pretty fabric in between your signatures. So let's just do that and give it a swish. So I think so far, when this video goes up, we will have had Steph do a video, and she did a no-sew journal binding, which is hinging all your papers with paper. I've never made one of those, but I am really keen to have a go. Then Corey Damon did a great video, and I have never seen her system before, where she puts a sort of an insert in. That's well worth watching as well. And then Shona from Fraps and Scraps, she did a no-sew as well. So she made a cover, and I think she's done, yeah, she did a binding with, that was sort of tied, the pages were tied in. So very cool, lots of different things. So many different ways of binding your pages into your journal. The sky is the limit, and there's lots and lots of videos that you can watch if you want to learn new binding methods. I'm just pulling that up a little bit, made it a bit wonky, but I want that cardstock covered. That's okay. So that will be sitting in our spine like that once our pages are stuck to it. So now I'm going to make a template for the pages, and for that I just have a piece of paper that's going to be the same length as this, folded in half, so it's just a scrap piece of copy paper. Mark the top. Now if you use this as a template to punch your holes in your pages, it means that they'll all be in the same place. So if they are slightly not exactly spaced, you're not going to have some, you know, they're going to be more even. Well, that's my thoughts anyway. So then, now I know a lot of people just would do this by eye, and, you know, like have different ways of measuring where their holes go. This is just how I've always done it, how I learnt to do it, and it seems to work pretty well for me. So that's our template. This is still, just needs a little bit more time to dry. So what's going to happen with this is we're going to open up our pages. If you've got one of those punching cradles, that's awesome. I know some people stack their signatures and go through all of them. I do them one at a time because I've had some go off where the hole has come out at the front and I don't like that. So I have, for my binding, I have a darning needle which has a blunt end. This helps prevent going through the splitting the thread and also making an extra hole that maybe you don't want. I have some linen thread and I just normally use cream. I don't have any other. Well, I do have some other colours, but this is the one I pretty much use all the time. And it's 100% linen. And I have a block of beeswax. It looks a bit munted because I've shaved some stuff off it to do some waxing of paper. Anyway, it smells yum. And I have an awl, super sharp. And I have these big paper clips. Now I love these. These hold all your pages in place and help prevent holes ending up where you don't want them or pages shifting, and then yeah. So I go through and I just make sure, normally try and make sure they're all up the right way. So yeah, make sure your pages are all the right way up. And they're staggered how you want them. I haven't really got all that much interest going on here with my pages as far as them being bigger or smaller, but that's okay. We can, I can deal with that later. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip all my signatures. And this may seem a little bit like overkill, this many clips on such small signatures, but I just love them. I just really like them to be held firm. I have to say, binding in my pages isn't my favourite part of the process. I just feel like so often things go wrong. So that's nice and tight in there. Then the second one. Just check everything's the right way up. Yep. And get 4 more of these. These were all pretty much given to me. I think my sister Jo and my friend Barb found them while they were out scouring the op shops or thrift shops. So yeah, they're super handy. I really like them. We have a beautiful sunny autumn day here today. Absolutely gorgeous. So this video definitely needs to be filmed before that beautiful sun creeps through onto my desk. I mean, I do love having the window right there in front of me. I can look out at the trees, and if I have my windows open, I can hear the birds and the ocean. But if I have wanted to film in the afternoon, I'm a bit stuffed because of the sun. I have a blind, like I guess it's a sun shade blind, but it doesn't completely. It's not a block out blind. And even if it was a block out blind, I guess then I'd have to put my lights on, and then you have the shadows anyway. So I don't know. Just means I have to think about when I'm in the day I'm going to film. And as you guys know, I'm not the most organized person these days. I used to be very, very organized, but not anymore. Okay. So these are going to go in there. Oh, it's going to be exciting when it's all bound up. I think it's going to be cute. I was wondering whether I wanted to put something over here. And if I do, I probably should do it now. But I'm not going to, because that's just going to hold up the whole process even longer. So we have We have our signatures. We have our thread, so I'm going to thread my needle. Oh, yep, thread my needle, and then I will do my holes. Right, we have our page hole template. I am going to just pop it in the center here. It's the same height as my pages. I'm going to turn it around this way so I can see where my holes go. Like that, and really push it in. And then I'm going to get my awl, and I'm just going to poke my hole where I've marked, pull my page down and try and go in nice and straight so it comes out right on that fold of the pages and not out the top or out the bottom. So that's those ones done. Now we can sew them to here. So remember, you want your pretty side up. That's why the cardboard is on that side. The ugly side goes down. It's going to be glued into the book. I'm going to run my thread through my wax, and that just helps the wax thread grip when you tie it, so it doesn't slip and your pages don't become loose and your knot is real firm. Okay, so I'm going to start with the last signature because that one's going to be my trickiest, and I'm just working out, do I want my signatures? So now you need to decide whether you want your signatures in the middle so they hang, you can hang something from them when they show, or whether you want them tied at the back here and then they're invisible. And I think I might go with them showing because I might make some pretty things. One thing I've forgotten to do, let's do that now, is punch the holes in here. We really need to do that. So I'm just going to go through and punch the holes in my spine piece. So yes, I'm going to go, for those, anyone who knows how to do this, I mean, of course, fast forward or go watch something else, that's fine. Through the center, and then obviously through the center hole in the spine piece. Up to the top or down to the bottom, it doesn't really matter. And actually I might go down to the bottom because I've got that pocket that I'm going to try not to sew. Whoops, now look. Here's a trick for young players. I've put the top down the bottom, so now I need to start again. Luckily, I've discovered that. Now, it probably doesn't really matter a whole lot, but if anything's out even slightly, it'll all be the same amount of out, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So we'll do this one and then I'll skip the rest because... Okay, so top. Let's go through the middle hole in the spine. And I'm going to go down to the bottom one and try and not... I think I'm not going to catch it. So let's go through here. I'm going to lift our pocket up. And pass the center pole into the top hole. Through there, and then you're going to go back through the center hole, And this is where you don't want to catch your, pierce through your thread that's already there, because you won't be able to pull anything tight. So, okay, so I'm just going to go through. Everything's loose. And then I'm going to go through my center hole here, try and not catch the thread. And the blunt needle's great for that. When you come through here in the middle, you're obviously going to need one string on either side of that center string, because if you tie a knot, otherwise it's just going to pull through the hole. So I'm just going to get some don't need that much thread. Don't want to waste it, so that's why I don't cut it before. Right, so now I'm just going to give it a little tug. I want them to be tight and firm, but not so tight that they're buckling the papers, and that when they're glued into the book they don't kind of have enough room to sort of sit flat. They're just kind of pulling. So it's kind of a fine balance. And I'm just going to tie this one up. And I might leave strings long enough because I might feel like making some little dangles, or we could tie it in a bow. I'm not sure. So that's the first signature in, but it's actually the last signature. And I'll do the next two and I'll be back. I will just put it on fast forward. Right, so they're all sewn in, and then now's a good time to check before you glue them that there hasn't been some kind of... So now we've got two bits of washi tape there, but it's quite pretty. I feel like that one's probably maybe upside down, but I don't think it matters too much. Not quite sure what happened with this one too. It looks like this one has slipped, because actually that washi tape's not even on the fold, so there we go. That's just one of those things. And because we've got lines on this fabric, you're going to see if it's not straight. I think that is straight, it's just that my fabric curls around like that. So lots of beautiful pretty papers, the digitals, and my center folds are quite plain, so I am going to decorate those so they look more interesting. And I'm going to have some nice deep pockets. that one might be upside down as well. So I haven't done a perfectly good job of that, have I? Interesting. Yep, that is upside down. Oh well, never mind. That's really disappointing. I'm actually going to take that one out. Oh, I can't. Yeah, I'm going to take this one out because I'm not happy with it. I'll be right back. Okay, wow, so sorry about that. I have a limited time that I can sit for, so, and I really want to get this stuck in to here because it does need to dry, and then, you know, before we finish the video. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to glue these pages in. I'm happy with them now. There is still one that is upside down, this one here. I don't think it really matters. It's kind of multi-directional, and I'm not quite sure what happened with that letter, but anyway, it's fine. It is in, it is in. So now we're going to glue this into here. What I thought I might do is I'm going to glue obviously these bits down, but I'd like to stick some lace in there, and that will come down above and below here. So I need to do that. First I'm going to stick these pieces down. Sometimes I lift these to tuck, if I'm going to do a curved spine, to tuck the cardstock under there. But I can glue all this down now. I might just use this, even though it's got the holes. You're only going to see that bit there sort of poking out. So that's what I'm going to use. And again, you don't want it to go too far because you don't want to bulk up those shoulder bits. So I'm going to cut it there. So we cut 2 pieces. And, excuse me, and glue it on. Decide how much you want showing. And at the top. Cute. Oh gosh, yeah, my brain. Wow. Just a little bit peeking up there. Now, if you like, you can put something over here to strengthen just these, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to glue it straight in to the spine. So you could put a piece of really thin muslin or cotton or something over these, just to give those stitches just a bit more strength. But I think the glue and everything is going to hold them beautifully. It's not a super heavy journal, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to use a lot of glue because I don't want these going anywhere. And 1 minute, I just want to see where my fabric falls either side. Oh yeah, it's quite below, so that fabric is going to be covered by the papers that I put here. I don't need to, sometimes if it comes right down, I do a V to hide it. So these are the things, this is going to really anchor our pages. So now the most important thing is getting it in the center, top and bottom, and in the center of the spine as well, so that when it's sort of closed, it looks the same at the top and the bottom, and it's even sort of in the middle there as well. So that's the goal, and I'll try and do that. I'm going to apply glue to the spine, and again, I don't really want glue sort of seeping through my fabric, and it's not a heavy fabric, so I'm hoping that's not going to happen. So I'm just going to do that much on the shoulder there, and I'm going to spread that. Because that's where my fabric's going to be. Well, not there, but on the side here. So I'm just going to spread it. So there's good coverage, but it's not too wet. Okay, I'll try not to put my grey head right in the camera. I just had to race outside and say goodbye to David. He's going away for a few days, and I knew he was gonna, I can see him stacking up the trailer, and I knew he was gonna just come in at a crucial moment, and I thought better that I go and say goodbye to him. Whoops, now that needs to go up. And we get that even there. I can't see, I actually can't see the edge of the spine very well. There. Oh, it doesn't look straight to me. It needs to go up a bit. Yep, so there's lots of fiddling around, and a tacky glue is good because it gives you wiggle room. It gives you time to move things before it dries. I'm having trouble sort of seeing this one very well. I don't think it's going to be perfectly straight. But anyway, I'm going to pull this fabric nice and firm out that way. Keep this and same at the back. Oh well, I think it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And then in between your sigs, get something to just press down. Actually, this is huge. This has a huge wide gap there, so you can just use your fingers. And then we're going to let it dry, and then I'll come back for the last sort of bits. So basically what I do is I go and lay it flat somewhere like that. And I put something heavy on here, and I put something heavy on here, and I just walk away and I leave it normally overnight, but today I won't be leaving it overnight. I'll leave it for a couple of hours, and that will give it time to dry enough for us to then be able to glue the rest of this fabric and fold this, but I want that be nice and dry. So I'm just actually going to push that into that little shouldery bit there. It's not a very deep sort of shoulder. Same there. So yeah, just lots of working through. I think that rose fabric looks super pretty, and I love the peak of it through there. That's super pretty. I'm pretty sure Jo gave me this fabric, my sister. Absolutely lovely, and I have used it. I think I've used it quite a lot, and I've still got a decent amount left, so that's good. Right, now we can go, we can put something heavy on here. I've got this super heavy thing, and an old heavy book will work on this side, and that's just going to keep everything nice and still and firm and dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've left this to dry for quite a while, not probably as long as normally I would, but that's okay. I have to get the video finished before the sun grabs my desk and bathes me in lovely sunshine. So I'm just going to glue the fabric down. Front, same again. So there we have our journal all bound. There's lots more we can do. Like I said, put something here. Because we've glued our signatures in, it's made that into a flat spine, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. Like I said, there's a different way if you want to keep it curved, but I didn't want to do that. I'm still thinking I might cover this, and the next thing is deciding what we're going to do on the inside covers, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I will continue with this journal on video, and I was actually going to do another one, but yeah, everything obviously it takes up a lot more time than you think. So I'm really happy with it now, even though there's a few boo-boos, like I don't know how that paper got moved, and there's one that, you know, you could maybe say that it's upside down, but we'll see. So that's Tuesday's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please check out all the other collaborators and the links below in the description box. And I've also linked some other videos of mine of different kinds of making covers and binding if you wanted to check them out. And as always, many thanks for supporting my channel and leaving lovely comments. I will see you again really soon in the next video. Bye!